ladies and gentlemen, we are back, King and I Life podcast. We are jumping back into this topic. Um, we on part four of this, right?
Yes, sir. I believe so.
Two parent versus single parent household. Again, you can find us on your preferred podcast platform. Hit us up in the email. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and jump back into this topic. Um, what would
Again, that's helping your children understand that it's not their fault when the parents go their separate ways. Um, I definitely think that that plays a major role in how a child develops because if either parent leaves that situation for whatever reason and they're not even willing to sit down with that child and tell their child, hey, look, me and your mom or me and your dad, we didn't work out, but I am going to do everything within my power to make sure I raise you to the best of my ability. It's never your fault when these type of situations happen because you're a child. You have absolutely no bearing on the outcome of a relationship.
right?
Um, Having that understanding and that talk with your child even as they start getting older, even if you've had that talk with them, you still have to reiterate, as they're getting older, this is a situation you had nothing to do with it.
Right. I think that that kind of that kind of makes me wonder a lot about how what goes through people's minds when they're raising children when it comes to that. Um, because I can say for me, growing up in a single parent household, I don't know really the the good part of growing up with two parents under the same roof. So again, when I'm looking from when I'm an outsider looking at other situations where it's two parents, it's like damn, I don't have that, I don't have this, and then ironically, when I think back, I used to see a lot of movies and TV shows where it was that very thing going on. It was like parents get divorced and the child thinks it's their fault and they're talking to the child like it's not your fault, it's this, that, and the other. And the child is, well, if I wasn't here, it wouldn't be like this and blah blah blah. And we see these movies, we've seen these movies so many times, and it's like we can't even wrap our heads around the fact that, hey, I'm just like that child right there. If this is what's happening in that movie and this is happening in my life, how come I can't look at the two and be like, "Oh, it's not my fault." But then at the same time, children need to be told that by their parents. They really need that. They need to reiterate it. They need to be spoon fed that, hey, it's not your fault. Things happen. Uh, when you get older, you might see things. You might go through this. You might experience this. Let me tell you how to prevent this. If you do go through this, let me tell you how to work through it. It's all about giving a good example and letting them know.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Um, I think with a lot of parents, though, they're scared to actually have that conversation with their kids
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
whatever reason.
Um, I would just say, just do your research. Like there's so many platforms out here right now, so many resources as far as like actually learning a better way to handle a situation where you and your mate, have gone your separate ways, and making sure that you check in with your kids and let them know, that they have absolutely nothing to do with, you know, you and your spouse's situation.
Right.
Because again, they grow up thinking, I was a bad kid, and I'll do better, and please don't go, and
You know,
we've seen all the movies and stuff,
yeah,
so and
I'm
we
gonna run
we've seen it
away.
in real life. Yep. So again, I would definitely say anyone facing this type of situation, although you might not care for your mate, always care for your seed. You know what I'm
Always,
saying?
always.
At some point, you have to know your ass is gonna get old, and you're gonna. It'd be nice to have someone in your life that come and check on you. I
Always,
just,
always.
and I know this is a bit off topic, but I can't fathom not taking care of my seed. I can't fathom that shit. Like really, I can't see, bringing a child in this world and not taking care of it.
I mean, that's not even off topic because if you are man or woman enough to explain to your child that it's not their fault, you are in a sense taking care of that child's mental and emotional well-being. That child has to know that you care. That child has to know that you understand. That child has to know that regardless of what's going on, um, you still have two parents. Um, it burns me up that some people that have kids in these situations, and because of they are so damn selfish, they don't care. Um, and it's kind of personal to me because I have family members doing this nonsense, and it's like come on, man, are you serious right now? Like do you even care that you brought this child into this world? Do you even care that you put this child in this situation? Do you care how this is affecting that child? Like, grow up. Like, really grow up, because what is this child going to look at? Daddy is where? Mommy is where? Why can't y'all get along? Um, at the very least, why can't y'all get along? Um, you know, these children, especially these days, especially with them, being social media robots, they need to understand that, hey, real life is here, and as your parent, regardless of what the situation is, I need to help you understand that it's not your fault. You can still come to me as your father or mother, even though I'm not under the same roof with you. And the one that's under the same roof, hey, just because your mother or father is not here does not mean that they don't care about you. We care about you. We just have a situation to where we cannot be together. It's really not that hard.
No, not at all. I'll give you a prime example. I have a friend of mine, right, an associate of mine. Um, where his father, growing up, he would see his father all the time, but his father didn't have two words for him.
Mm,
So one time, he just happened to stop at a store, and I think he may have been like 15 and 16 years old at this time, and it was his birthday.
mm-hmm,
So he walked into the store, and it just so happened that one of his mother's male friends was talking to his father, and he was like, "You know that it's your son's birthday today?" And he was like, "No, I had no clue.
oh
I
wow.
didn't know. That's cold blooded. You don't even know when your damn son birthday is." So anyway, my friend came out of the store, and he walked over to where his mom's friend was talking to his dad, and his dad gave him $5. Five freaking dollars.
Mm.
Happy birthday, $5.
Wow.
So, needless to say, once my friend got older, he still remembers that shit to this day. And he was like, you know what? The biggest regret I got about them damn $5 is that I can't give it back to him because his father passed away. He was like, there was one thing I took away from them damn $5 was as
Mm.
soon as I get old enough to be a man, I want to give this back them $5.
Wow.
So that plays, again, a major role in the development of your child growing up without their mother or father in their life. Like, I cannot stress to anyone how impactful you as a parent, the influence you will have over your child.
Yeah,
But you got to be a part of their life.
yeah, that is true. That reminds me, I was about 27 years old, 2 years after I met my biological father.
Hmm.
That joker came around one time on my birthday. Mind you, I am like 27 years old. This jackass gave me $20 and said happy birthday.
Wow.
I looked at that $20 and I wanted to be enraged, but I just felt sorry for him. I literally felt sorry for him because I'm like, what am I gonna do with $20? I mean, I could put this in my gas tank, but what is this? Like, what does this mean? Like, what is this saying? Yeah, I don't get it. I don't
Yeah.
get it, man. I don't get it.
I mean, I understand that not everybody that makes a child is a parent. I get that. But it's just that lack of even damn trying. That's the part that, gets beside me. But anyway, I'll move on from it. Time management with respect to time out of school, special dates, etc.
Um, that depends. If it's because of the a relationship fell apart, um, I don't know how much time out of school that child should get, or on special dates or whatever. You know, I don't know of any right time to heal from that as far as a child is concerned. But
Hmm.
I think if the parents are if they have open communication with that child, then um, I don't think it should be as tragic. Of course, they're going to go through some type of emotional hurt or whatever the case may be, but I think as long as the communication is pretty spot on or decent, that child should not, depending on that child, of course, that child should not need too much time out of school. Um, Special dates, outside of that, when it comes to special dates, like, family, whatever, things like that, I would lean more towards saying it depends on what that child has going on in school. Um, like if this is a student and this child has all sorts of all sorts of activities and stuff going on, those special dates need to be moved to accommodate that child's academic pursuits. Um, if that child is not so academically astute, and leaning more towards on a struggling side, special dates are out of the question. You need to focus on school and do what you need to do. Um, and as parents, we're going to come to that conclusion together because the main thing is you need to be stable and productive in your life and not allow nonsense that is really not affecting you affect you. And at the same time, if you're going through something, then we need to have a conversation, whether that's, you know us talking to you together, us talking to you one on one, or you going to see a counselor when you get out of school or whatever the case may be. But um, time management is key. You need to be focused. You need to be on your schedule. You need to have your life mapped out as best as possible. Um, uh, and I can honestly say when it comes to my oldest, I kind of fell short on a lot of those things. But um, you, as a parent, you have to understand that you can't make up for the past. You have to make the present and the future better. And as long as you manage that time better in the present and the future, then you know you should be able to build better things and work towards a more cohesive goal.
Yeah, I'll say as far as time management with my child, I know he doesn't understand a whole lot right now because of the age he's at. Um, but I look forward to those days where I'll be able to check him out of school
Hmm.
and just me and him go do something. You know what I'm saying? Or I can plan, something special
Right.
as far as like maybe taking them to a Disney trip or making each birthday something that's memorable for him. Um, but as of right now, the best I can do for him, every time I see my son, I'm excited.
Right.
Like my energy level goes through the roof when I see this dude. So I try to make sure, anytime he's in my presence, I give him my highest level of energy to express to him, I'm excited to see you. I'm excited to be around you. Uh, just being a father with a child, I think they teach you just as much as you teach them to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Because one thing any real parent can say is my child taught me patience. Dang sure taught me patience because a lot of situations, again, with my child being so young and having those tantrums, I just be looking at this dude and I'd be like, okay, so that's what we're doing, right?
Hmm.
So I let him throw his little tantrum. I'm like, are you done yet? Are you done? Are you finished? You sure that's it? And we'll proceed. But uh, going back to time management, you definitely gotta enjoy any time that you have with your kids, man, because as we all know, they grow fast as hell.
Boy, let
I
me.
mean, I still remember, holding him for the first time, and
Mm.
now this dude is dang near way past my waist. I'm like, geez, where'd the time go? But um, again, as far as like his birthdays, I want to make sure any and every birthday I can make it as memorable for him as possible, or anything special that happens in his life, whether it be an academic award or uh, physical award or whatever the case may be. I just want to make sure I do the best I can. So when he gets to a certain age and he looks back like, you know what, my dad did the best he could to make sure he was the best father to me he could be. He showed me so many things and did so many things with me that I'm truly grateful for that.
Yeah, I can say with my youngest son and my stepdaughter, I was I was head over heels with them. When they were like two, three, four, and five, and stuff like that, they had to go to daycare. Um, so my work schedule, I was off every other Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Um, and and on those days, sometimes I'd be like, "Nah, y'all not going to daycare. We going to a museum,
Oh
or
wow.
we going to the park, or we going for a car ride, or we going here, we going there." And we used to do those things so much, and it was so fun. Um, it just made my day to have that time, and it was like I wanted to be stuck in. I still want to be stuck in that time because it was just so fun to see their faces and you know it. I mean, like everybody used to be like, "Damn, y'all go everywhere together." I'm like, "Look, we gonna do it. We gonna do it." Like we go down to DC. I took them to Air and Space Museum. I took them to Natural History Museum, American History Museum. Um, you know, we was out there doing it. We was getting it in so hard. Um, went up to New York, got them on a subway. Uh, all kind of crazy restaurants and I'm sitting there buying food and they can't even eat all the food, but we was on a roll. Uh, yeah, movies, carnivals, I mean, those years, man,
Hmm.
those were the best years, and it's like I want to do that over again. I literally want to do that over again.
So, how big of a role do grandparents play on the influence of uh, kids? You think?
Ah, these days, I don't know. Um, I don't know. I I, I think kids, our kids. Well, let me see. Kids when I had mine, because mine was born in '93. Um, I don't think these days grandparents have such a big a role or influence because we're still young. Like I was a grandfather. Let me see. My oldest grandchild is what, 8 years old.
Oh wow.
Shit. That's too young to be a grandparent to me. That I mean, that's just my opinion. That's just too young to be a grandparent. Like I'm I'm like, you couldn't wait till I was like 50? Like, you know, you couldn't wait till um yeah, like you couldn't wait till you grew up a little bit. You couldn't wait till I was on the downslope a little bit. Like like why? And then the craziest thing is like you have three generations of people all within a 20-year lifespan. It's like, yo, now I'm 40 something. My child is I mean a 30-year lifespan. I mean, I'm in my 40s. My child is in his almost 30, and his child is it's just too close together for me. It's too close. It's just too close.
I had to say that. The great thing about that though is because it is kind of close. At least you have enough energy to enjoy your grandchildren. A lot of people don't have that luxury. I'll say my uh, wife's parents, they call my son damn near every day uh, and be talking with him. I'm like, even though y'all live in a whole nother country, I appreciate the fact that they go out of their way to make sure pretty much every day uh, they call and FaceTime this little boy. I'll say for my father, of course, anytime I go up, and spend time with my dad, I can see them out in the yard. Like if my dad's out in the yard, that's where my son is. Just whatever his grandfather's doing, that's what he's doing. Whatever I'm doing, he'll come out and kick it with me every now and then. But for the most part, he's kicking it with his granddad. So I can definitely appreciate the fact that my father spent time with his
Mm,
grandson.
yeah.
Um, and anytime my nieces are there, he definitely spends time with them. Um, he birthdays, Christmas, whatever the special occasion may be, he goes out of his way to make sure he spends that time with them. So I think that grandparents play a major role in how some kids are raised because they still gather that wisdom or that energy that their grandparents provide for them.
Mm, yeah. And as far as how different it is in current times than it was in the past, I think grandparents of the past, they had they were in a position to give a lot of wisdom to us. Um, and grandparents who are who are still of that cloth to where they have that season time, and they have all those years between, you know, the child and the grandchild. I think it's a lot different. Um, because I've seen a lot of grandparents where, you know, the the grandparent may be in their 40s, the child is in their 20s, and the grandchild is 2 years old, and it's like, yeah, I got wisdom, but at the same time, it's like it's just not that wholesome feeling. It's not like it's. I guess you have to be you have to have been raised in that situation
Mm-hmm.
like we grew up to really feel that grandparent feeling. It's like right now I don't as a grandparent I don't feel like a grandparent. Um, you know, and when I think of my grandparents, I mean I've only known two grandmothers, but
Mm-hmm.
when I think of them, it was like I can look at you and distinctly see that you are a grandparent, and I can marvel at your, you know, at your age, your wisdom that you hold just in your face. Um, I can marvel in the. I mean, it's kind of the same, but it's like with our grandparents, you hear the stories that they tell.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of doesn't compare to the stories that we can tell, especially with us being so close in age to our grandchildren. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess it's a feeling that you have to experience.
Yeah, I definitely can relate to that. I mean, with my grandparents, again, on my dad's side, um, I had a step grandfather. Um, Although I did know my actual grandfather, we didn't really interact like that.
Hmm.
It was kind of sad though the way I discovered who my grandfather was. Um, a lot of times when we would go visit the city that my grandparents lived in, um, of course I spent time with my grandmother. You know that was a given.
Right.
Um, but then there were times when me and my dad would just take a ride and we'd go to this man's house, and my dad would be talking to this man. And a lot of times I just stay in the car because I had no clue who this guy was
Right.
until I got older. And I was like, Dad, who is this dude?
Hmm.
And he was like, that's your grandfather. And I'm like, so you mean to tell me all these times that we've been over here, now you telling me this is my granddad?
Oh wow.
Because it was very seldom that this man even said anything to me. And I think it was more my father reaching out to him
Oh, okay.
than him reaching out to my father.
Okay. Understand.
So, but my grandma growing up, she definitely taught me a lot of hard lessons. 'Cause my grandma, she really was, like I said, so career oriented, education uh, oriented. It was just mad crazy. She could have easily have been a doctor if she wanted to, but she chose the field of being a nurse and was very successful as a nurse. But one of the lessons she taught me is, don't ever stay in a situation where it's not beneficial towards you.
I know that's right. I know
You
that.
know, again, I've seen it firsthand how serious she is about that. Meaning, with some of my step grandfathers, if they said the wrong thing or you know came about with the wrong gesture, she was quick to put them in their place. I'm like, I don't need you.
Yeah.
She was quick to cut them off. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely think grandparents play a great role in how your child is raised.
Yeah, they can, given the right circumstances.
True that.
Mm.
So how different is it in current times than it was in the past? Well, we kind of already hit on that one.
Okay.
Um, It's the role of the grandparents as regal as it was back in the day. We kind of hit on that one too.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Grandparents were like gods to us back then. Um, that's the best way I can put it. Like, because my sister's grandmother, before she passed, she was the most comical and quick-witted woman that you could ever encounter. She passed away. She was like 80 something when she passed away, but that woman, I will put it bluntly, she can talk shit with the best of them. And she wouldn't curse, but like she was look. Every time I went over there, she was like, "Boy, where you come from? Did the wind blow you in here this time?" I was like, "Yeah, the wind blew me in here this time." Oh boy, yeah. It was no joke. She was like 6 feet tall too. Um, you had to look up to her, and yeah, those are one of the. It's like you look at her and you say, that right there is a woman, right there.
Right.
I don't think all grandparents are as regal, but there's still some out there. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I will never. I will say that that was the most regal grandparent that I've ever known, ever.
Yeah. I have to say, my grandparents on my mom's side, though, it was almost comical
Mm.
how they were because my grandmother was this kind, sweet, beautiful old lady or older lady, and my grandfather, this dude would insult anybody and wouldn't give a damn how you felt about it. Like he'd be like talking to you and insulting you, but saying it in a way where you got where he was coming from. Like I give you a prime example of this one guy that uh, used to come to my granddad's house, and my granddad be like, "Boy, where you been? What the hell you been doing? Boy, you look like old damn dusted bag, son. Where you been out rolling in the damn dirt? Damn, you gotta take better care of yourself, son. You gotta wear cleaner clothes or something. Goddamn."
Wow, that's funny.
But the one thing I remember most about my granddad was he was the type, if he told you something,
Uh-huh.
please believe he was going to stick to it.
Wow.
Now, there have been plenty of times where people would uh, leave their car at my granddaddy's house,
Hmm.
and he would like, "Well, you know it's okay. I understand your car done broke down, but if you don't come back and get it by Wednesday, I can't be held responsible. What happened to it?"
Oh wow.
So you let somebody leave their damn car past that mark that my grandfather gave them. My granddad would go and sell shit off your car,
Get out of here.
like a alternator or a starter or whatever,
Oh man,
because he'd be like, "I told your ass to come get it.
that's funny.
You
That
ain't gonna leave it past in my yard past the time and date that I gave you." But my granddad was, again, the type that he didn't hold his tongue for any damn thing. Like
wow.
anybody and everybody could get it. And the only time I seen my granddaddy hold his tongue is when my grandma made him or
Mm.
actually said something to him. And a lot of times that shit didn't work either. But he just, and
Uh,
the funny part about it, King, though, is a lot of people, even though he would insult these people loved the hell out of my granddad because he never held any punches.
yeah, that's the thing. Like they was just blunt, honest.
Yeah.
They didn't sugarcoat nothing like that. It was
Mm-mm.
straight to the point. And that is lost. That is lost. That is
I
really
definitely
lost.
believe so.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
Well, once again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in to the King and I Life
yes,
podcast.
yes, yes.
Again, you can find us on Facebook, YouTube, all of your major podcast platforms. And again, we are truly and totally humble that you would take this time to listen to us.
Yes,
And
indeed.
again, please continue to do so.
Yes, and you know, also we on Instagram and hit that email. Hit that email.
Yes, sir. KINGANDEYE369
Yes,
Again, that's King and I 369 at gmail.com.
yeah. And with that being said, we are out. We are out. We are out.
Peace, everybody.